Welcome back to another edition of the FSU Simicast. Back on here talking Florida Gators recruiting. It's fun. You know, poke fun at a rival. And actually, genuinely, genuinely ask the question, what the fuck is going on in Gainesville? Last night was the trifecta of fuck. What the fuck? Trifecta of what the fuck for Florida Gators recruiting. It started off with four-star offensive lineman, something Herbert or a Bear, can't remember, considered a heavy Florida lean. Well, he committed to the Canes last night, so UF misses out on a blue-chip target. Then a little later in the evening, Mike Rumpf, who I believe might be their defensive backs coach. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comment section. I know you will. He resigned. He turned in his resignation letter. And then finally, the coup de grace, the fucking trifecta, to complete the trifecta, complete the triple whammy. Their second highest rated recruit, four-star defensive back Elijah Blades, has decommitted. So, good Lord, Rome is burning, Gainesville's crumbling. Jesus, what the fuck is going on? All right, I'm exaggerating a little bit there. But seriously, what is Swamp Donkey doing? Like, let's look at their class ranking right now. Now that they lost that four-star defensive back, let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Yeah, here we have the rankings, and yeah, look at the middle of the screen there. 31st ranked class on the 24/7 composite team rankings. That's ridiculous. Now, granted, there's a good handful of teams ahead of them that don't have some of the quality that UF has. If you look at the second column to the last on the right, you'll see the average rating, and I could scroll up, but I don't feel like it. But trust me when I say there's a handful of classes that don't have, on average, as high-quality recruits as UF does. But, I mean, that's just kind of sugarcoating it if you're a UF fan. 14 commits, 6 days from signing day. They've already whiffed on the four-star offensive lineman I mentioned earlier. I think I read they were in some battle with Minnesota. I don't know if it was a blue-chip guy or a three-star guy. But the headline read, a battle between Minnesota and UF, and recruit chooses Gophers. Something like that. Like, you're losing the recruiting battles with Minnesota. And I heard this morning, or I read this morning, that another target who's a four-star, he might be defensive back, don't quote me on it, by the last name of Henderson, considered a Florida lean earlier in the cycle. Apparently a lot of the crystal balls are rolling in now for him to go to Miami. So Mac is whiffing on the blue chip targets down the stretch, at least so far. I know they have some blue chips remaining. He's had a coach resign. He's had his second highest rated player on 24/7's composite decommit. If I read this correctly, he still has not hired an offensive line coach. I don't know if that's the right coach, but there's still a hole on his staff. 6 days before signing day, his staff isn't complete. If it is an offensive line coach, gee, maybe that's why the four-star offensive lineman chose not to come to your school. I could be wrong. There could be other reasons, but it's perplexing to me. And I remember hearing on the Nolecast a few episodes back where they were talking about Gators recruiting and poking fun a little bit like I'm doing now. They were saying that, people in the know around college football and in recruiting circles and everything, they hear that Mac isn't as organized as you would think a Saban guy would be, as far as on the trail or coaching staff, having people lined up for when you do lose a coach. Because most coaches, I know Jimbo does, and I think a lot of coaches do, and maybe Mac does. Maybe he just has his thumb up his ass. But they have a list of coaches they like. And when they hire them, they, put a line through their name. And if those coaches ever leave them in the future, okay, let me just go back to my list of coaches that I like, and boom, I got someone lined up ready to go. So if Mac is still waiting for some reason to fill his staff, beats me. We'll have to find out and see what happens. But that's all I was really want to talk about. Like, again, I mentioned how the Gators have room for improvement. I've mentioned that at least a couple times when I've talked about Florida Gator recruiting and some other podcasts. but running out of time. And if they continue to miss on these blue chip targets that remain, and they might have 4 or 5 remaining, I don't know. But they'll have to close strong somehow. If not, like, good luck competing for an SEC title. Good luck competing for a national championship, a playoff spot. It's just not going to happen when you're struggling like they're struggling. 31st. Like I said, they do have more quality recruits than some teams above them. But the fact they just have 14 commits, it's ridiculous. And then you combine that with the fact that the opponents that they play every single season, like FSU, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, if they happen to win the SEC East again, are completely, maybe not Tennessee completely, but they're either they're ranked ahead, and some of the upper echelon opponents are just lapping them in recruiting. It's like, good luck closing the talent gap when some of your biggest opponents have like 2 and sometimes 3 times the blue chip recruits. Well, that's okay though. I think it's okay because, you know, Max won the East twice in a row, so everything's cool. You know, just ask some Florida fans. That's what they'll tell you. Well, he'll just coach him up. I mean, he's won the East twice in a row, so yeah, everything's good. I hope that is the thought of UF's new athletic director. Please keep Mac around. I would love for the talent gap to keep widening. Oh man, if you're a Gator, you probably hate me right now, but how can you not laugh? And then how can you not ask the question, what's going on? But more on the athletic director, and this might not bode well. He was quoted recently as saying something to the effect of, because someone might have asked him, like, in a roundabout way, like, Florida's recruiting struggles, you know. And he basically was saying recruiting doesn't matter, like paraphrasing, but that's basically what he was saying. And of course, like any fan that says that uses the classic defense. Oh, well, look at this 1, 2, or 3 star that did well. Look at this team that didn't have all blue chips that popped up. Yeah, you came from Mississippi State, and he brought up the year they were ranked in the top 4 in the first year of the college football playoff, ever so briefly, and how they had a 3-star quarterback named Dak Prescott, you know, who's obviously doing well now in the NFL. It's like, cool. I'm glad you're completely ignoring Mississippi State's other years, you know, the bigger sample size where they've sucked ass, and not so coincidentally, they've sucked ass on the trail too. Okay. And then moreover, you're at Florida, the same school that captured titles in 06 and 08 with some of the highest rated recruits they've ever had. Tebow, Harvin, just to name a couple, Pouncey twins. Like, if Mac is failing on the recruiting trail, and his boss essentially doesn't think recruiting matters, if you know, in regards to competing for national championships and playoff spots and conference titles, then good luck is all I can say to Florida. Good luck. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. That's all, that's all I wanted to say. Seeing that shitstorm on Twitter last night, I was like, wow, I gotta talk about this briefly, because that is just triple whammy in one night. Good Lord. To sum up, whiffed on a 4-star offensive lineman, had a coach resign, and had their second highest rated recruit decommit. And before I go, actually, I forgot one more thing in relation to Gators recruiting and what the fuck is going on, and just, hey, quadruple whammy maybe? I believe there's a high school coach in Homestead who, I think I heard a week or two back, it wasn't that long ago, I heard that he had tweeted out or something that he does not want UF football coaches at his school going forward. And I don't remember if he actually said why at the time, but apparently something's come to light in regarding this matter. And that is 2 UF coaches were supposedly, I haven't watched it, I don't even know if it's out yet, 2 UF coaches were caught on camera offering a recruit money. Now, that isn't to say other schools don't offer recruits bags of money, but to get caught on tape doing it is not a good look. And supposedly, if the story is accurate, the player refused the money and then turned the coaches in. So I guess he told his high school coach or whoever, Yeah, I just had 2 Gators coaches try and give me bags of money. Again, what is going on at Florida? Like, you got to recruit better than that. Maybe be a little more discreet. If that video does exist, uh-oh. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Florida fans, I'm sorry. Sorry. If any of you stumble upon this and know what's going on or feel like everything's okay, or please let me know, because right now it looks like this motherfucker's about to burn. That's it. I'm out. Thank you for listening. Feel free to subscribe. This has been another FSU Simicast. I'm out.